What's up, Facebook users, Facebook fans, Bedjet fans? I'm a Bedjet fan. I've had this thing for a few years, and I absolutely love it. But I'll tell you, one frustrating thing I have about this is the really horrible mounting system that they have for you if you have any kind of sizable footboard like I have. I've tried everything. I've put screws in it. I've Velcroed it. This thing here, these little things here are absolutely useless. I don't know if anybody's got any experience with this, but you try to attach these to the sheet, it's a joke. You can pull them right out with your hand. So if you're a tosser and a turner like me, I find myself many nights getting cold in the middle of the night because I prefer to just sleep with this, with the system running. But what happens on a cold winter's night when it's 65 in my house and this thing falls off because I pull it off because I roll around in the sheets a little bit. I'm not pulling the sheets, I just roll, and the thing just pops right out because these tabs don't hold, and so it just slides right out. So I came up with a jerry rig that worked for a little while. I don't know where my wife put the... So I kind of jerry rigged this. I put a screw through this. I stuck this Velcro on here, but I knew that wasn't going to stay on by itself, so I put a screw through it, and it eventually pulled through, obviously. But I put a piece of Velcro at the top. There's a piece of Velcro down here at the bottom, and then I just put this strip top to bottom to keep it in place. But if you want to remove it, you just remove the Velcro, and it'll come out. I think that's going to work. I need to get bigger screws with bigger heads because these little heads are so small, they just eventually popped right through the Velcro, and then it didn't work anymore. But that will at least jerry-rig fix the problem of this thing just lifting out so easily. The other hack that I have to do is I have to nylon, zip tie the hose to the mount because this thing here is also useless. Give you an idea, whoops, of how useless it is. So you put this on here, okay, right? Let's see if I can do this without dropping the phone. All right, so this is supposed to somehow, well, it's cracked, which is why this doesn't work. It's got a crack in it right there. But even still, this little part here obviously connects into there, and then it's supposed to hold this in place. It doesn't work. So I've had to zip tie it in place. It kind of works. It looks terrible. It works great. I love the thing. So I called today. I've had it a few years. I decided I'd call Bedjet and find out if they've come up with anything that's a better mounting solution than what this pathetic thing is. And I get a guy on the phone. I won't mention his name, but I get him on the phone and I'm explaining to him that, I've got this system. I'll be there in a minute, Diane. I'm on the phone. And basically he tells me that that he doesn't have any other complaints, that it works for 95% of, and that was the exact number that he used. It works for 95% of the time, or of the people, whatever, which I think he just made that number up out of thin air. 95%. Okay, well, I find that kind of hard to believe because I believe that this is popping out probably for everybody, but that's why I'm making this video, because I told him I was going to do it. I want to see if I'm the only guy with this issue. And then he proceeded to eventually, I told him at the end, because I was kind of complaining, because he didn't really seem to understand that, having a 5% failure rate should be okay. And, the fact that I'm in the 5% failure rate, I should just hang up and be okay with it. And I wasn't. So in the end, I told him, I said, well, I appreciate you taking the call and listening to what I have to say. And I really like the product. I just wish it would stay on better so that in the middle of the night, the thing isn't coming apart and I'm laying in bed freezing or getting up trying to figure out how to mount all this back together without waking everybody up. And he hangs up on me. I didn't say all that. I just said, I appreciate you taking the call and hearing me out and listening to what I had to say. The guy hangs up on me. Just click, goodbye. I'm like, are you serious? This is the way they treat their customers? I mean, the very last thing that they say when you call and you get their auto attendant, the very last thing, if you call the number, the 800 number, or the 401 number, it's not 800, is they say, we're here to help. So anyway, I called back, and of course I got the auto attendant again, and sure enough, at the end of the 60-second long message, it says, we're here to help. And I thought, I don't think so, but I'm going to call back and find out why whoever this person is, why he just hung up on me without me ever saying bye, and he never said bye. So after about a 5-minute wait, the first call was a 12-minute call that I had to wait for to get somebody to help because they're here to help. Second time, it was about 5 minutes, and I get a guy on, and I figured it'd be somebody else. And I said, I called a little while ago. I don't know if you're the person I talked to. Probably not. And he says, oh, actually, I am. My name is Terry. Is this Michael? And I said, yeah. He says, what can I do for you? And I said, well, I wanted to know why you hung up on me. All I did was, just share some information with you about my experience. I told you I liked the product, but the fact that it comes apart in the middle of the night is not really working for me, unfortunately. And you hung up on me. And I want to know, he said, oh, no, I didn't hang up on you. You said goodbye. I said, no, I didn't say goodbye. I said, I appreciate you taking the call and hearing me out and listening to what I had to say. And then there was a click on your end. He continued to argue with me, and then finally just started going through this programmed response of, is there anything else I can do for you? And if this guy said this one time, he said it 6 times in a row. Is there anything else I can do for you? And I'm thinking, you haven't done anything for me. So what else is there that you could have done for me? If you've tried to help me, if you've come up with some ideas that just didn't work or whatever, then you can say, is there anything else I can do for you? But since you didn't do anything other than tell me that, tough luck, you're the part of the 5% group, if that's even real. I think it's more than that. But even if it is accurate, I mean, why should I be okay with being the 1 out of 20 that the thing fails on? Shouldn't they just send me a new one to see if maybe my luck is a little better since I bought 2 of these for $800? How much would it cost them to send me a couple new mounting brackets since maybe these are defective? But no, you didn't do any of that. You didn't do anything to help. So for him to say, is there anything else I can help you with? I told him, I said, sorry, but you haven't helped me with anything, so I'm not sure why you keep asking me that question. And he was just, didn't really seem to care a whole lot. Didn't offer any help, any ideas, any suggestions, nothing. Just, here it is. Sorry that you're part of the 5%. So anyway, I just wanted to throw this out there. I'm curious if anybody else has these problems. Like I said, I'm not knocking the product. I love the product. I use it every night, and I think it's great. But I think their customer service department is a joke. At least that one person who I happened to get twice in a row was a terrible experience. And maybe Bedjet, maybe someone from the company might see this video and hear what just took place and hopefully make some changes, because this is not the way you treat somebody who spent $800 who has kind of maybe a minor problem, but it's a big problem for it working or not. That's my goal. So post in the comments if you guys have any experience with similar situations with this mounting system or any ideas how to fix it. I'm going to go back with this again. I'm going to put bigger screws in here, here, and here. Use the Velcro to hold it together. And then the other thing that occasionally will happen is this will come out. Not as often, though. This is the main problem. But yeah, if anybody has some experiences, some suggestions, let me know.